Hello everybody, welcome to another episode on Tactical Fun. I'm George, and today we have a new production LMT LMR. Well, it's a Mars-L LMR. It has the 13.25 handguard, the 16-inch barrel, which we'll talk about in a minute. Fully ambidextrous lower, their new axle trigger, which we'll also talk about in a minute. And this horrendous grip that they've come out with. That is no longer the Ergo with the LMT branding, it's their own thing, and it's literally like the worst thing I've ever felt in my life. And I've had hundreds of them, and I've been with some hideous people, so we'll talk about that later. So on the end here, we have a real LMT buttstock, not the B5, which is also okay, but the fit and finish on this one is nicer. I will say that, but this is $200, and the B5 is $100, so for twice as much, it's not twice as nice. So there is that. But there's no, so we'll just start back here. There's no wobble. Perfect fit and finish, so that's nice. We have the what do you want to call it, the Graphite lubricated buffer tube, which is nice. Funny story, when I first started getting into guns, you could see it starting to get lines on it already. I thought this was a malfunction in the finish was wearing. That's just the lubrication. So yes, when I first started shooting, I bought LMTs. So if you think that's white privilege, I don't know. So next we have the castle nut, which is looks like it's mechanically staked in 2 positions. So 1 and a 2. And then we have their QD end plate, which you've seen on some of my builds. I don't really build anymore. I kind of just buy stuff now because I'm lazy. But that's nice. So we have their ambidextrous charging handle. Oh, I can drop that forward. I was showing you it was empty, so I don't get those comments as usual. So this is their ambi charging handle. It looks like a standard T handle with. So that's probably going to get changed because there's no gas busting and I shoot suppressed. So moving forward, you have a semi-auto bolt, and I'll show you what that is in a minute, which is kind of a big letdown also. This rifle cost me $42, so I'm not too disappointed with anything. But if you're a regular person, this cost you $2,700 and you're probably sad. So we have full ambi, both sides. This is their safety they've always used. It's adequate for what they have. This is their new 2-stage trigger, which is going to get a Geisley because it's not that great. I remember their old trigger being better than this. Unless the one you buy in a bag is different than this. I don't know. I buy one that's $230 from LMT, and it feels nicer than this. So I don't know. So going forward, we have the rail, which is amazing. So we have, I could fully C-clamp this because I got big monster man hands. And going forward, we have the 16-inch mid-length chrome line barrel with the flash hider, which will get a suppressor. It's actually going to get a new barrel. It's going to get a 14.5-inch barrel with a pin flash hider on it, so I could be nice and light and run the suppressor. This rifle is very handy, very light. Even being monolithic, everyone was like, oh, this could be too heavy. This is awesome. I love it. So another thing, people were like, LMT QC, this, that, and the other thing. So I do have one problem with this rifle that I'm not going to call them about because I don't really care. But we have the same problem with this rifle that the Anderson had. So we'll get to that in a second. But on top I have Magpul Pros that you see me put on everything. They're easy. I'm going to say they're cheap and easy, but they're like $200, so they're not really cheap. A regular one's like $60. So don't listen to me. I'm out of touch with reality. So we have the Aimpoint T2 on their LRP mount, which is their quick release auto adjusting mount here. So you adjust your tension here, and it will automatically adjust to the rail. This is a $900 red dot. You don't need to buy that either. It's very nice though. I have astigmatism, and some of the other ones work very nice for me, but this is a perfect dot every time. So there's that. So we're going to, what do I want to do here? We're going to open it up. I knew I had this in here. There's actually another one next to me. If you already noticed, that pin was very tight. So I'm gonna take the charging handle and the bolt out so I can show the bolt. That's one way to do that. But if you look, the bolt is cut all the way back here. It usually finishes like here. Like a full auto bolt is made so back here catches an auto sear and an M6. I know you don't have an M16, well you might, I guess. But they for some reason, ever since the gun ban from 1994 to 2001 and 2000, I don't really know. But ever since that, during that time, they made the semi-auto bolts to appease the Clinton law. But they never stopped. I mean, they make ones that are full auto, but in all their complete rifles, you get one of these unless you buy a piston rifle for some reason. So I don't know. It's still, the fit and finish on it is perfect. It works fine. I don't have a full auto lower or nothing, so but there is that. Here's their axle trigger, I think they call it. But here comes the issue. I'm going to call this the Anderson issue. So we have a $2,700 rifle. And I can't even do it without hitting it with something. The front pin won't go in unless I beat it with a hammer. So once I get it past about the middle, so about there. Yeah, maybe not. It's still stuck. There it goes. So I'm not sure which one is doing. Oh, here it is. This one. If you look, you can see the finish wear in the top here. So this was misaligned in the jig when they made this. Now this lower cost $1,000. Like if you went to buy that. So I haven't checked the uppers and the lowers because I don't want 905 comments like on my Anderson video that if you put it this way to this way or this way and this way, magically the holes are stretched because it's a different shape and things. So I don't feel like dealing with that again. But I'm going to show you by hand here. That's as far as I could get it in by hand. Oh, sorry. I gotta use my orange thing again. That one's fine. That one moves fine. And it snaps in fine. But this one, this is, oh, I could get it. Okay, maybe that's as far as I could get it in my hand. So when this actually arrived to me, I got this from Rooftop Defense. Support those guys, they're amazing. And they sent me ramen because they figured I wouldn't be able to eat after buying this. But, so this actually arrived in the box with the front pin like this. Like, whoever inspected it, pushed it in and said, fuck it. But in the box, I had on the inspection, they just went down the inspection. One of them was, does the piston move freely? Like, their piston rifle? It's not even a piston rifle. So whoever put it in the box, I have it still. Like, if somebody goes, oh, no, they didn't. If somebody goes against their QC and wants to stick up from them. I love LMT, but this is not great. But I'm not going to send it back or anything. I'm going to put it together, and when I have to clean it, I'm just going to hinge it open. So I don't feel like dealing with all that. But be warned, another guy that bought one from this group told me that you can look on my Instagram, his gas block touches the rail, so he had to send it in. Mine does not. I checked it with feeler gauges and everything, mine's fine. So this is my only issue besides this horrendous grip. So if you like what you're watching, hit subscribe. And if you have any questions, get on my Instagram. You might get offended if you have a weak stomach, but give it a try. And thank you. See you next week.